All right, guys. I know it probably seems a little fast, but we are transitioning into your next essay now. So we don't really spend a time on a unit. Like I feel like the rest of the semester was kind of divided up between these units. We focused on the summary, the basic argument, the rhetorical analysis. And now we are in synthesis, which is just a word for like combining information from different sources. So it's also an argument with sources. So you did watch a review video last week. And I also know most of you are probably familiar with this type of paper from high school. Even if it was a long time since you've been in high school, this is what you're used to doing. So moving into this, I'm just going to go over everything with you as usual. So you're writing an argumentative essay proposing a solution to a problem. And now people hear that and kind of freak out. They're like, what do you mean? Another way of thinking about it, if you have difficulty coming up with a topic, would be something that you think needs to be changed. And so you could argue that the current way of doing things is a problem, and so we need to switch it to this other way because XYZ. And then you need to have at least 3 but no more than 4 outside sources. So you guys are doing research for this essay. You've not been allowed to do research before for the papers, but you will be. And so again, you've watched that video on the databases last week. So that goes over how you're doing your research. Now you don't have to just use the databases. Obviously, Google is a thing, but you just need to be careful when looking for information outside of the databases. We are going to be watching a video. Well, you guys are going to be watching videos next week about critically thinking about your sources and how to know if a source online is credible or not. So, you can find things within the databases that are like not just scholarly sources. You can find newspaper articles and other like credible sources without having to really worry if they're credible or not. So again, first choose a problem, analyze and define the problem for your readers, find a solution, defend your solution, offer detailed reasons for adopting your proposal. So basically how we kind of talked about the types of claims you can make. The first is, and we're just going to lump these two together, fact definition. So define or explain how whatever is being done the current way is a problem, which would also kind of go into the value, like what we're doing now is bad. And then your solution, which is the claim of policy. So that's kind of what we're doing. Because this paper is only, getting down into here, 3 to 4 pages in length. So that means at least 3 full pages, no more than 4 full pages. So what that means is that you cannot have some crazy big topic. Your topic should not be so complex that you would need to perform extensive research beyond your 3 to 4 sources to be able to understand it. You want to, again, think about writing, like who are you writing this letter to, or your essay, I guess. Again, not just me, but if you think about what your problem is or what you want to change, who would be the one to change the problem, to fix it? And that's who your audience is, right, in your soapstone. Who is your audience? You need to think about that. And so with that, you are trying to convince this person in 3 to 4 pages to fix something. So you can't take on I'm just going to go ahead and give a list of, I'm not going to say these topics are banned, but like guns, the cost of college. I know we just had elections, so maybe you want to think about like electoral stuff, maybe the, what's it called? The Electoral College, that kind of things, abortion. So these are not necessarily off limits, but you're not going to be able to take on gun control in America in 3 to 4 pages and be able to write a convincing argument. So then again, thinking about who your audience is, you don't want them to be able to poke holes into your argument. And so you need to kind of keep it local and small, whatever you're writing about. So these, again, they're not off topic. You can't write about gun control in America, but you could write about a specific gun law in Colorado. This law is bad because XYZ. Here's why we should change it. Same thing like abortion. You can't argue that we need to ban abortion everywhere, but maybe you want to argue in favor of a specific bill in Colorado or something like that. I don't know, just keeping it focused. So I do have some suggestions down here. One is your workplace, something here at school at Pikes Peak Community College that you don't like, something in your neighborhood or community, or a hobby or interest that you've had. You could try to tackle some of these bigger topics down here. Equality, violence, accessibility, mistreatment, and efficiency. Again, it can't be too big. And then your solution must be something, I'm going to highlight this, students always don't do it. It has to be concrete and enforceable. And so, for example, you can't say, well, I want to raise awareness about whatever. I want to, I don't think that parents should have their kids stay up past 9 p.m. Well, you can't enforce a national bedtime or, so it can't be raising awareness. It can't be a recommendation because you can't enforce it. So that's really the problem with that. Now, again, if you're worried about children getting enough sleep, on the other side of that, you could say, well, maybe we should push school start times. Teens need sleep. I can't make parents make their kids go to bed early, but we could have later start times for school. I've had students write about that before for this essay. And again, they focused on Colorado Springs, the El Paso County schools should have this start time instead of this current start time. And then kind of argued with these detailed reasons for adopting your proposal, which would be your warrants and your evidence. They provided evidence about how sleep, children, especially teenagers, I think they were focusing on high schools, need more sleep than adults. Here's how sleep deficiency harms teenagers. That's why we should do this. So, now, to make sure that your topic is okay, you're going to submit a topic proposal. That's what you're doing this week. And then I will schedule a meeting with you if I need to. And so you guys need to look at your feedback. I'm going to write that because I'm not going to email you, but you'll see in your feedback bubble thing oh, please email me so we can set up a time to talk. It's really important that you check this. And if it says to do that you do it, because if your essay topic's too big, you're going to do poorly on the paper. You're not going to get a good grade. So you need to make sure you're checking that. And that's really what the problem usually is. I don't think I've ever I don't really, not in a mean way, but I don't really care what you guys think about guns or abortion or health care, whatever. So I've never rejected a topic because of what it is. It's always that it's too big. Why I don't think that we should have any gun control at all, or I don't, I think we should have universal health care in America. Okay, you can't argue all of that in 3 to 4 pages. So that's normally why topics get rejected. And if they do, I also, normally I would try to help you narrow it down. Well, if you are really passionate about whatever it is you're writing about, or the topic you've chosen, we could try to find ways to make it more narrow. So for your sources, you guys are doing research for this. You need, remember, 3 to 4 total. So at least 3, no more than 4. And you have to have at least one of them as scholarly. And so remember to make it scholarly. If you're using any of the EBSCO host databases, which would be that Academic Search Complete, or they have some of those subject-specific ones. If you're writing about a certain subject and you want to check those, remember to check the box that says, I think it says scholarly peer-reviewed, I think. If you're using the opposing viewpoints or the CQ researcher, you would search. They have, when you get into the tabs, if you're looking at an overview of an issue, it would be something I think it says journal, scholarly or peer-reviewed journal articles. So it does say that. So that's how you would, again, make sure. And only one of them has to be. You can have more than one. You could have 4 scholarly sources if you wanted, but you have to have at least one. This says any web-only sources has to be cleared through me. That's not true. That's something that I used to do. And I just forgot to take it out, so ignore that. And then you are writing an annotated bibliography for your essay. And so you went over those last week. You're going to do a practice assignment with that. This week, there's an annotated bibliography practice assignment with the Banning English article. So don't forget that you're doing that, and you need to have an annotation for each of your sources. And this is a separate grade from your essay, so it's not included in your essay grade, but it's important. So 3 to 4 pages in length, MLA, formal. You can use your first person again if you're using some soft anecdotal evidence. No second person. I do not want to see this word in your essay unless you're quoting someone else. And they say it. That's fine then. Don't forget to have parenthetical citations throughout, properly formatted annotated bibliography, and then I remind you about that again. Last time I had taught this class, I'd say 2/3 of the students forgot their annotated bibliographies, and it's like 50 points, so don't forget that. So the due dates, just really quickly. So this Sunday, you're going to have your topic proposals uploaded to D2L. There is a specific sheet for you to fill out. So you're not just like writing me a paragraph. It asks certain questions. December 2nd, so not until then, are you going to have your rough draft. Friday, December 2nd is when you fill out your peer review sheets, and then Sunday, December 6th. So this is like your last big assignment. Now, to just get into some of the content, I don't know how to insert a page break here. It won't let me, maybe because I'm drawing. Anyways, I want to try to do some like possible topic ideas, because that seems what students kind of struggle with. So like I said, I've had someone argue for later school start times in El Paso County. I have had students write several for abolishing the pink tax in Colorado, which is when menstrual products like tampons or sanitary pads are taxed as luxury goods, instead of like necessary items like Band-Aids. Like you don't pay tax on medical items, but you have to pay a luxury good tax on tampons. So several students have written about that. Let's see what else. I've had a student write about Pikes Peak Community College's snow day policy. And we've gotten a little bit better, but when I first started teaching, like there were some days where the government and the military bases were called off school and we still had to be there at 8 a.m. So they felt that was not cool. I've had students argue for legalizing psilocybin, which are essentially like the hallucinogenic like mushrooms if someone takes like shrooms. Again, so in Colorado, so that's something that they focus on. Other like specific, so these are sort of some like local, like county or statewide. I had a student who worked at Sonic, and she wrote that their menu was too big, and they had too many specials, so it made it difficult to train people. It made food longer to cook, so customers were unhappy, so they should make a smaller menu and stop having so many specials rotating. I had a student who worked at the Icon Theater across the street from campus who argued that there should be music in the lobby. And so, again, you might think about these and say, well, how am I going to find a scholarly source to support this or any source? So you kind of need to think about widening sources and narrowing them to fit you. So she, at the Icon Theater, found a scholarly source about how music increases people's productivity and motivation. So she argued we can give better customer service and do better, if we played music. And then at Sonic, she wrote about how, which I actually listened to a podcast on this. It's why, apparently why Trader Joe's is so popular is that people don't like having too many choices. Like, they like having choices, but too many choices overwhelm them. Oh, sorry, my cat just jumped and fell off my lap. So that was a source that she used. So these are two, workplace examples for this. So, again, I always think, if it affects you in some way, it's probably you're gonna be more invested in it when you're writing. And we've actually had students submit papers before. There was a girl that worked at a restaurant downtown, and I can't remember which one it was, they threw away all of their food waste, and so she wrote a paper saying that they should actually donate it to homeless shelters, and gave it to her boss, and they ended up changing the whole the restaurant policy on it, and they actually did start donating their food waste instead of just throwing it away. So, yeah, so those are some like possible topic ideas. If you're struggling to come up with a topic, just reach out to me. I am here to help you, like I always say. And then you can find the prompt without my scribbling all over it in the essay prompts folder on D2L along with this video. So just let me know, again, if you guys have any questions about what you're doing here, coming up with topics, any of that stuff. Don't reach out to me and say, is this topic okay? Because you're going to be doing the annotated bibliography. But you can say like, oh, this, I want to write about this, but I know it's too broad. Can you help me narrow it down? I'll do that for sure. But I'm going to look at everybody's prompt. I keep underlining the wrong things. I will be looking at everyone's proposal. Okay. Yeah. Talk to you.